Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. Sloka 8. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ yukta ucyate yogī sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. In last session, we learned about Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma, Nirupita Swarupa Visheshanam. Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma is the basic essential, the key characteristic of the entity, whereas Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana, after identifying the entity, when we understand its attributes, then it is called Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana. That which is already been established, then we are understanding the details of that object or entity. We apply this too in the Tattvatrayam, that is Chit, Achit, Ishvara. Chit is sentient soul, Jivatma. Achit is the non-living entities. Ishvara is the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Then we had addressed two questions. Question 1, Atma has all these wonderful, great attributes. It is full of bliss, knowledge, eternal. Then why we don't see so? We see only suffering. And the answer we saw was those greatness is naturally present in Atma, but due to the association with the matter, the body, they are not prominent. Those nice qualities, attributes are subsidized. The second question we addressed is, then why did we get the body? Answer we saw was because we had untraceable, unlimited karmas from all our previous lives, which produces happiness and distress. For the happiness and distress, we certainly need to have body to experience them. We also saw the greater importance of having the body. It is because of the karma we got the body. It is because of the body that we do karma. It is because of the body that we do dharma. It is because of the body that we can practice any yoga. It is because of the body that we can drain our previous karma. It is because of the body that we can accumulate any punya karma. It is because of the body we can go to any higher planets. It is because of the body that we can surrender to Krishna. It is because of the body that we can attain the Supreme Lord abode, Lord's abode. So body plays a major role if we can understand these things. Therefore, this yogi completely understands the science of Atma, who has realized is fully satisfied. Hence he is Triptātmā, because he knows that the dualities of the material nature are due to his own previous karmas, which are not actual attributes of the Atma. Hence he utilizes the body where he is situated in a better way, so he can attain liberation. This is what we covered so far. Now let's understand the second line of the sloka, kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. Kūṭa-stho. Swami Prabhupada translates it as one who is spiritually situated. That is, whose objective is the essential nature of the self. irrespective of the kind of embodiment it takes. Swami Ramanuja gives 3 meanings on this term to understand, to explain. The first meaning, kūṭa, means the large stone used by the blacksmith, on which the blacksmith places the red-hot iron for shaping it. The red-hot iron that comes in contact with the stone undergoes transformation. Not the stone, the red-hot iron undergoes transformation. But the stone itself underneath stays same. In the same way, a person, though put in any condition, heat or cold, happiness or distress, honor or dishonor, due to the body, this Atma, the yogi, stays same, not being impacted. The Atma is spiritually situated, hence not affected by the body, senses, mind, etc. Therefore, he is called kūṭa-stho, first meaning. Whereas the second meaning, kūṭa, means the peak of the mountain. You might have heard Trikūṭa mountain from the historic stories. Kūṭa is the peak of the mountain which is stable and never get disturbed. Like that, this person who's in the physical body, the Atma which is situated in the physical body, has positioned himself not to be disturbed because of the bodily conditions or any other external condition. He is fixed in his Atma. Therefore, he is kūṭa-stho. That's the second meaning. The third meaning, kūṭa-stho, one who is head of a family hierarchy, kūṭa-stho. It's called as kūṭa-stho. We heard Surya Kula, Chandra Kula. Here Surya and Chandra are respective kūṭa-stho, the head of the lineage, parampara. Likewise here, the Atma is kūṭa-stho because it is situated in the current body. In the previous life, the same Atma, my Atma, was situated in a different body. Prior to that, I, Atma, situated in a different body, and it just goes on. So, who's the head of these various bodies? The Atma. Therefore, the Atma is kūṭa-stho, of various bodies it has obtained. So, these are 3 meanings to understand kūṭa-stho. Now, how did this yogi suddenly became vijitendriyaḥ, one who has conquered the senses and became tṛptātmā, completely satisfied? The answer is, until yesterday, this person was not tṛptātmā because he didn't have that jnana. He saw everything in relation to his body. He was impacted when there were cold and heat, happiness and distress, honor and dishonor. He was disturbed by his enemies and he was joyful because of his friends. Therefore, he was not in peace, which means no peace, no happiness. No happiness because dissatisfaction, and he will not have the eternal happiness, which is called bliss, which is called ananda. That was yesterday's scenario. But today, he has become tṛptātmā because he has obtained both jnāna and vijñāna, and he has conquered the senses. He sees everything in relation to Atma, not through the body. Because of this, he is not impacted when there is cold or heat, happiness or distress, honor or dishonor, He is not disturbed by his enemies, nor he becomes joyful because of his friends. He is not disturbed by any of these things. He knows that this is all because of his own karma, that a person becomes an enemy, a person becomes a friend. A person becomes enemy to give suffering, a person becomes a friend to give joy because of the good and bad karma that I have done from my previous lives. When one is free from these differences, that's when one becomes Triptātmā. He knows all these are related to his body, which is temporary. He is Atma, and Atma is Anandamaya, full of bliss, and Jnānamaya, full of knowledge. When one is spiritually situated, kūṭa-stho, in this jñāna-vijñāna, the knowledge and the realized knowledge becomes Anandam, means Anukula Jnānam. Anukula Jnāna meaning which is the knowledge which is favorable for one to attain the ultimate happiness. The knowledge which is favorable is called Ananda. Sukham also means happiness, but it has its opposite, which is Dukkham. Whereas Ananda doesn't have an opposite. It is bliss alone. We should note an important point here. Any Jivatma, a living entity, will always try to be favorable for oneself. Always. Will never do anything to oneself which is not favorable for him or her. No one will work for oneself to suffer. And of course, they may do it for others, but not to oneself. Well, the question may come, what about someone who tries to suicide? He doesn't seem to be doing anything favorable for himself by killing himself. Answer given by Swami Ramanuja in one of his commentaries, that he who is attempting to suicide is thinking that it is favorable for him for that moment. He doesn't know that it is not in reality, but for that moment he thinks this is the most favorable thing that brings him peace. He thinks, if I leave the body, I don't have to face the problems, suffering, be answerable, be frustrated, get disappointed, face the failure, etc. The best thing is to commit suicide, to be free from these things which will bring sadness otherwise. By ending myself, I'll bring happiness to myself. For him, he is convinced that suicide will bring him happiness. So, everyone is working towards for their own self to be happy. But the person who has proper jnana and vijñāna will know where the true happiness lies. It is not on the external objects or external things, including the body. It is within self, in Atma and Paramatma. Therefore, this yogi works towards the Ananda of the Atma, not the Sukham of the Deha, the body. He sees no differences between human, devas, gandharvas, animals, birds, reptiles, insects, plants. He sees himself as Atma. He sees everyone as Atma. He sees everything is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Now, that leads us to the last part of this sloka, sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. That is, he sees no differences between matter. Either it is lump of earth, a stone, or a gold, which we will pick up in our next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.